The width that you cut this out determines obviously the width of the torso. Have a clean edge on the inside. Roll it towards me. It's quite a lean dancer that I'm working from, so I don't need that much clay on the torso. Mark out, just tear off the excess, so you've got a nice rough edge on the outside. Just give the feeling of looseness. I'm joining on the actual spine, looking at where all the joints are in the body. So I'm just blending from the inside out. So you've got all the seams hidden inside. So this should give a loose indication of where the spine is on the body. So just loosely pinch in the waist, turn her upside down. I'll start to work out from the hip through to the curve of the buttock. Just pressing against the finger, I'm literally just pressing against the edge of my hand to get that shape. The clay is quite firm because I don't use any armature. So just do the same for the other side, just following the lines of the hand. Just fold in on itself. Start to get a little bit more shape. Bring in the waist again. Just constantly following from the spine. Taking that waist. Then tear off the excess. Follow the line of the armpit through to the collarbone. Pressing in with the thumb to give the armpit. So because we've created a spine from the seam, then you can actually start to move the body around and position it how you'd need to for the pose chosen. So I'll normally loosely wedge some clay together, porcelain and stoneware, because you have a nice contrasting surfaces with those. The reason I picked these two clays is not only the reason I like the contrast is because the firing temperatures vary slightly, so you get a slightly different shrinkage rates, which exaggerate the contrast of the textures and the colours also. It reminds me slightly of in museum pieces where some artefacts have been dug up and some sections have been fully restored, and there's other sections that are quite decayed, and I like the contrast in textures, so that's what draws me to these pieces. Starting on a limb on there. With some of the other pieces as well, particularly the hairs, I like to use nails, mainly brads and springs and things to give the idea of bone or a claw jutting out. I also, with the birds, use damaged plates, smashed plates, because I think the clean line, the edge of a plate, gives a beautiful line for the bird's wing. With the pheasants, I also insert springs, just door springs into the throat to give the idea of the looseness of once they've been shot, how they just flop. I like that. I think a pheasant is just as beautiful dead as alive. It's one of the few animals that is. And I just like the looseness of the throat, so that's why I use the spring in it. I also use the edges of the plate in those birds, and I make wings and feet out of wire and trace and latex to give quite a meaty feel to the feet and gnarly feel to the feet, in contrast to the beautiful textures of the wings. As I said before, I add on where there are natural joints in the body. So I'm just adding on the socket of the leg there. Because it's where the joint naturally would be in the body, you can just move it around and position it, because I've shaped it as a socket. I've been pinching out the hands here as I said about, I try and think of the body as if the clay has actually got joints in it. I'll start to pinch them out the fingers, marking the joints where they would be on the body. When I add on a finger, I'll add on at the base, so you've got the bones, you're looking at the bones and the different tendons as well. So it just doesn't look like a little sausage finger shoved on the end, just looking at the flow of the body. So we've got one of the hands, so we can bend the fingers. Because I've put joints in them, you can bend them at their joints and it should look quite natural. You can move them around however you want. You've got the creases of the palm of the hand as well.